fellow collectors, it's Chris the Batman Statue Collector, your Dark Knight of Collected, and welcome back to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. On today's statue chat, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite pieces in my collection, namely this case right here, the Sideshow Collectibles Premium Formats as part of my Gotham City collection that I've had for years. A lot of you guys know me from that. Maybe you discovered this channel because of that display. I always say, hey guys, should I switch it in and out? And you guys always say, no, it's such a great display. And I have to agree with that. I absolutely love this display. That's why it's always still front and center. So we're going to get to that here in just a second. But before we do that, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and also click the notification bell and click all. That way you receive all of our videos and you don't miss a beat. And also check out our social media right here. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and also, of course, you can find me on TikTok. I don't post nearly as much there, but Instagram and Facebook is where I am mostly. So anyway, a collector said, hey Chris, why don't you rank your favorite premium formats from least to greatest? And there is no worst in this category because I love them all. I wouldn't have it in my collection if it was a worst piece. So I'm going to rank from the ones maybe I don't like as much to the ones I love the absolute most. I'm really excited. Now this is not going to include the Scarecrow piece, the Mr. Freeze piece, or the new Bane that they released or teased at Sideshow Con by Daniel Bell. This is just going to be the 7 pieces that are currently in my collection right now. Of course, I'm going to have to do a whole nother video when those new pieces come in because I'm sure my list is going to change dramatically when those pieces come in because I'm really excited about them. So anyway, this video right today is just, again, my top 7 pieces that I love in my collection right here, the Gotham City display. So let's start right now with number 7. Alright guys, so coming in at number 7 is the Killer Croc Premium Format. Now, this was very difficult to me to put him all the way at the bottom because I really like him a lot. I think he is well sculpted. I think he's incredibly underrated. Of course, he has a couple of pieces on him that are downfalls in this piece. A lot of collectors' eyes. Number 1 was that seam. The seam is awful. I'm going to be honest. The seam is not good, but I actually covered it with a chain, and I think it looks really good because it fits the character. It covers up that seam. Should there ever have been a seam in the first place? I feel like there shouldn't be. I would love to see a new Killer Crocs at some point from Sideshow. But I'm not going to hold my breath right now because hopefully there's other characters they will revisit or give us for the very first time. But anyway, I really like the Killer Croc, and the only other downfall to me is the base. It is incredibly deep. It takes up a tremendous amount of space in my collection that I don't really have, and so I just wish that it had been on a smaller footprint maybe. But other than that, I still think it's a great piece. Again, highly underrated. I always recommend him when somebody asks me, hey Chris, should I get it? Yes, you should. It's a great piece. And how many Killer Crocs are there? There's not very many. I can think of a few off the top of my head, of course, my giant Prime 1 piece, but not everybody has the space for him for sure, and he's very expensive. So the premium format is still a great price point, and you can still find him fairly easily if you look. So number 6 might surprise a lot of you with my pick here because it's a newer piece in my collection, and it is a loved piece in the world of collecting. And my number 6 is Catwoman. It's a beautiful sculpt. It's a beautiful piece. I love the art direction on this piece, especially with the tall base, with her scratching down. I think it is really well done. And again, I love all my pieces in my collection, but the reason why I picked this one at number 6 is the same problem I have with just about every single Catwoman piece, is the black suit. You know, there's just not a lot of wow factor with Catwoman. You know, they've done purple versions of her, and I really like the way that pops in a collection. And I prefer the black suit. I think that's perfect. It works really well for her being a cat burglar or a jewel thief or whatever. But at the end of the day, the statues themselves can be kind of plain. In my collection, she just kind of hides in the background a little bit. You know, you just don't see her as much. You just have that pop of color with her face. Again, even her whole head is covered mostly with black. And so, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of pop with her. But it's still a great statue. I'm still so happy that I have her in my collection. But I think that it really just came down to the wow factor with her. Standalone, she's amazing. But, you know, you put her next to a really bright purple or a really bright red, she just kind of drowns out a little bit. All right, so coming in at number 5 is the Dark Knight himself, Batman, in my collection. You can see him right behind me. This piece is amazing. You guys know I had the OG piece for a very long time, and now I have the new modern version, and I really love it. I think it's phenomenal. It's got a lot of bulk to it. It's dynamic, and I love the base on it. But I like some of the villains more. You guys know that. I'm a Batman statue collector, but really I should be the villain statue collector because that's who I like. That's who I gravitate toward. I'm really happy to have this Batman in my collection, and he definitely, depending on the day, could go up higher or lower on my list. But he's a phenomenal piece, and again, it just took so long to get him. I really regret that because I should have just got him day one, but seeing how I've really progressed with my collection, I'm so glad that I have him. He's a great pick at number 5. If anybody ever asks me to get it or not, I always say get it. It is phenomenal. All right, guys, so then coming in at number 4 is going to be a piece I recently added to my collection, and that, again, is Harley Quinn. Now, I absolutely love this Harley Quinn. I sold my OG piece to a really great collector. I'm so glad that I went ahead and decided to get the new piece. It is really well done. I love her face sculpts, both of them. I love how dynamic she is, and I also love how shiny she is. That really slick, kind of like almost shiny leather or whatever it is, that jumpsuit. Oh, it's beautiful, sexy. I love it. I love it. But there are a couple downfalls with that piece, and it's basically just the angle that you view her at. It can be kind of clunky, a little bit awkward depending on where you're at. Now, I'm 6'2", so when I see her, I'm looking down on the case. But if I'm seated, it's a different perspective. You don't get to see her face as much. Now, I am hopefully adding the Harley Quinn Hell on Wheels to my collection as well. I want to do a compare and contrast between those two pieces. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really happy that I have her in the collection. I think she is phenomenal. I'm so glad, again, she's another piece that I wish I wouldn't have waited on, but I'm really glad that I finally had some common sense and gave her a shot in the collection because I think she's a lot of fun, and I absolutely love Harley Quinn. All right, guys, so coming in at number 3 is another beautiful piece in my collection. It's another new piece. And I want to thank collector Jeff Morris for pushing me over the edge and convincing me to get her because he said she was so beautiful, and he's exactly right. She is absolutely phenomenal, and of course I'm talking about at number 3, Poison Ivy. I had the OG, I sold her. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done because she was such a beautiful piece and such a staple of my DC collection. But at the end of the day, seeing them side by side, I love Sideshow's more realistic take that they've been doing over the last couple years. Absolutely gorgeous statue, very seductive. I really like her a lot. Now, I know that her sculpt wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I think she's phenomenal. I like that you can kind of pose her from a couple different angles, and she fits in perfectly with the other collectibles in this case. I really like her a lot. I tip my hat to Sideshow for an incredible piece. Maybe could the green have been a little bit better color? Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I don't know exactly what color I would have wanted, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy. I like the way that the light shines on her from the case. I really like this piece. She's a beautiful, beautiful number 3. All right, guys, so coming in at number 2, that's right, we're down to the top 2 here. This one is, I feel like, still one of the best premium formats that Sideshow Collectibles has ever done. I'm talking about Bane, the Bane premium format. I absolutely love this. From the way that he is crushing the bat signal to his just sheer girth and size, to his hands gripping. I love the statue. I look at it every single time I come into the Batcave. I absolutely love it. There are tiny nitpicks about it that I don't like the way that the fabric is sculpted down into his muscle. It would probably pull differently if it was real life, but still a phenomenal piece. I absolutely love it. Now, of course, they are doing the Daniel Bell Bane that they just recently announced. Am I going to add that to my collection? Absolutely. I'm going to compare and contrast the two because I got to figure out in person which one I like the best. But will I ever get rid of this? I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping I don't ever get rid of this piece because I didn't think they could touch this thing. I didn't think that they needed to do another Bane, and I still feel that way. I don't feel like they needed to do another Bane, but I'm excited for collectors that maybe don't like this one or maybe just want maybe something more imposing that's maybe a little bit more realistic because this one is pretty bulked up, definitely on the Venom juice, that's for sure. But I absolutely love the statue. That's why it's still number 2. It is a great statue, and I hope it never parts from my collection. It might end up somewhere else in the collection, maybe. I don't know. Which one's gonna win out? I'm excited to find out myself. All right, guys. So then coming in at number 1, just right here, It's the Joker. How could it not be the Joker? This thing has been in my collection since day one. I absolutely love it. Every time I look in the collection, he's what I focus on because Joker's my favorite character. Is he dated? Maybe you could say that he is. Is his fabric element what I would choose maybe today? Maybe not. But what draws me to him is his incredible head sculpt. I still feel like it is one of the best Joker head sculpts on the market today. Will Sideshow ever do a better Joker? I'm sure they will. I really liked the Batman on Pogo, or the Joker on Pogo Stick, but I just didn't feel like it was as good as this one. You know, some people have said, hey, are you going to do a comparison between the two? I just don't know. I might, but I just don't, in my opinion, I don't know how you can top this one. It is simplistic. It is Killing Joke inspired, which I absolutely love. Still one of my favorite books to this day, and I have an emotional connection to it. We've talked about that on the channel before, having an emotional connection to letting things go. It might happen down the road. I don't know. But for right now, he is still #1 in my collection, even though all these other great pieces are added. And there'll be like Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze and maybe a new Bane and maybe other characters, hopefully a Penguin or somebody. But as the case changes, as the case grows, the Joker I still connect with more than any other character. And I absolutely love this piece still. It's old, but it's still amazingly good. So what did you think of my top 7 list? Were you surprised by any of your picks or any of my picks? I would like to know maybe your picks. What do you guys think about the order I had? Would you arrange them a little bit differently with these pieces? Are you excited that I'm going to add some more pieces to this collection? And would you want me to do another one of these when I add those pieces? So see if my opinion changes, because I have a feeling it probably will. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, make sure it's clicked to all, and also give us a like. That does help collectors just like you find this content. That means a lot to me. Consider joining the Brotherhood of the Bat down below. It does give you early access to these videos. And again, just thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun talking about some of my favorite statues in my collection. I love this case. I'm so glad that it's still here in my collection. But there's always going to be change. There's always going to be that spark of something that maybe inspires you today that you like this one better. Tomorrow you like that one better. I don't know. But it's always fun to kind of assess where you're at in your collection. I like that. I always recommend that you do that as well. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you right here in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.